Hello and welcome to the Myschool channel. My name is Angela, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the English language JAMB past question for the year 2005. Please don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Myschool channel. In this video, we're going to be reviewing questions 26 to 50. Let's begin with question 26. Choose the option nearest the meaning to the underlined words. The greatness of the creator of the universe is always inexpressible to many adherents of certain faiths. A. Inevitable, B. Wonderful, C. Unbearable, and D. Ineffable. So the answer to this question is D. Ineffable. The word inexpressible means something that cannot be expressed or shown or explained through language. The word inevitable means something that cannot be avoided. The word wonderful means something good, something amazing. The word unbearable means something you can't stand. But the word ineffable means both something that creates a sense of awe and wonder in the mind of the person beholding that object, and it also means something that cannot be expressed through language. So ineffable is the answer to this question because it is the closest meaning to the word inexpressible. Question 27. Again, we have to look for the nearest meaning to the underlying word or expression. We made a pie in the business deal. A. Lost a lot of money. B. Earned a lot of money. C. Broke even. And D. Cut corners. So the phrase to make a pie is an idiomatic expression that actually means to earn a large amount of profits from a particular business venture. So the best answer to this question is B. Earned a lot of money. So the person or the people who made this expression, they actually mean that they made a lot of money from the business deal that they had. So the answer to this question is option B. Question 28. Choose the option that best completes the gap. Yesterday, my mother asked me dash. A. If I am tired. B. Are you tired? C. Whether was I tired? And D. If I was tired. So in order to fill this gap, we have to identify which one of them will most appropriately take the position of that gap. The gap cannot be filled with a question because here the person is making a statement. Yesterday, my mother asked me so and so. So it's a statement and not a question. So it can't be option B. Then it can be option C because whether is not used in a case where there is no choices that has to be made. So you make use of whether in a sentence like, I'm not sure if I should take the train or take the bus. So you use whether or in that case, but you don't use it in a case like this where there is no option. And also with the inversion of was and I, whether was I tired, it doesn't make sense. So option C can't be the answer to this question. So it can either be option A or D. But the answer to this question is option D because we are talking about something that happened in the past. You can see that with the use of yesterday and the past tense of asked. So the answer to this question is D, if I was tired. So the complete sentence would be yesterday, my mother asked me if I was tired. So answer to this question is option D. Question 29. Again, we have to look for the option that best completes the gap. The bank manager assured us that there was nothing to worry about dash. A. As regard to the loan. B. With regard to the loan. C. In regard of the loan. And D. With regards to the loan. So the answer to this question is option B because that is the most grammatically correct option of the four of them. So you don't make use of as or in when you are making use of this particular expression. You make use of with. Then with the regards is not used in this particular situation. You make use of regards in a letter, maybe when you're saying give my regards to your sibling. So that's when you make use of regards. In that case, regards is a countable noun. But in this particular context, when you're talking about the fact that you're referencing something, you make use of the uncountable noun regard. So the full sentence would be the bank manager assured us that there was nothing to worry about with regard to the loan. So answer to this question is option B. Question 30. Again, we are to look for the option that best completes the gap. The first prize was dash tray. A carved wooden attractive B, a wooden attractive carved, C, an attractive carved wooden, and D, a carved attracting wooden. So this particular question is testing your ability to put adjectives in the correct order. So we're going to go to the board to see how to order adjectives appropriately. So this is the correct order for adjectives. You have to begin with your opinion, your judgment on the matter. So attractive is your opinion about a particular object. When you say something is attractive, it's your personal judgment. So that's the first thing that should come when you are putting your adjectives in order, followed by size, then physical quality. In this case, it is going to be carved. Attractive should come before carved. Carved is the quality of the object, how it looks like. Then we have shape, followed by the age, followed by color, then origin, and then we have material, the material used to make it, in this case wooden. Then we have type and then purpose. So this is the order in which you should place your adjectives anytime you come across a question like that. So ours is going to be attractive, carved wooden. Okay, so let's go back to the screen to mark our answer. So from the board, we can see that the answer to this question would be an attractive carved wooden. The complete sentence would be, the first prize was an attractive carved wooden tree. Our answer to this question is option C. Question 31. Again, we have to choose the option that best completes the expression. We have Sadu always cautions that difficult jobs should be done dash. A, step from step. B, step by step. C, steps after steps. And D, steps by steps. So the answer to this question is option B, step by step. You know how it is when you are taking a stairs. You take it one step at a time, step by step. So step by step actually means gradually. This particular person is cautioning that when you are taking on a difficult job, you should do it gradually, one step at a time. So the answer to this question is option B, step by step. Question 32. Again, we have to look for the option that best completes the gaps in the sentence. We have two gaps in this particular situation. I was often angry dash Uche since it differed dash me often. A, with and to. B, about and with. C, against and from. And D, with and with. So we're going to look at each of the gaps to see which would appropriately fill that gap. I was often angry dash Uche. You can either be angry with someone or angry about something. In this case, this person is angry with Uche. So the best option to fill that gap is with. I was often angry with Uche. So our answer can either be option A or option D, since those are the only ones that have that with as in the first position. Then I was often angry with Uche since it differed dash me often. So in this case, the best word to fill in this gap is with, once again, because to differ with someone is to have a difference of opinion with that person. So it can't be to, because when you put to in that case, it will be grammatically incorrect. There's nothing like to differ to someone, right? So the best answer to this question is option D. I was often angry with Uche since it differed with me often. So our answer to this question is option D. Question 33. Again, we have to fill in the gap. I am writing to you for dash reasons. A, concerned. B, several. C, plenty. And D, myriad of. So it can't be option A because you can't be writing to someone for concerned reason. You can write to someone for concerning reason, but not for concerned reason. The answer could be several because in this case, we are talking about countable nouns. You make use of several when you are referring to countable nouns. I'm writing to you for several reasons. Reasons are countable. You can count the reasons for which you're writing to the person. It can be plenty because you make use of plenty for uncountable noun. I need plenty of water. Okay, so that's an uncountable noun. You make use of that to quantify nouns that cannot be counted. It can be myriad of because it will be grammatically incorrect if you put that in that gap. I am writing to you for myriad of reasons. That doesn't make sense. It is grammatically incorrect. So our answer to this question is option B, several. Question 34. Choose the option that best completes the gap. As we start to dash the silence, my eyes dash the room. A, under and looked. B, over and surrounded. C, in and round. And D, along and observed. So the answer to this question is option C, because to sit in silence is a very common idiomatic expression. That means to sit, with other people without anyone making an effort to begin the conversation or to make a sound. That's how to sit in silence, or in this case, in the silence. So you sit in the silence. Then, for the second gap, the appropriate words to fill in that gap will be roamed, right? This particular person is sitting in silence and roaming the room. That means looking around the room, scanning through the room, right? But really without observing any particular object or any particular thing. He's just glancing through the room. So the answer to this question is option C, in and roamed. Question 35. Again, we have to fill in the gap in the sentence. Is it true that Okoro dashed when the gates were closed? A had returned, B could return, C should return, and D would return. So the appropriate option will be option A, because in this case, we are talking about something that has already happened, right? Option B, C, and D is talking about something that will happen or could happen in the future. You can see that with the use of the present tense return in all three of them, and the use of modal verbs could, should, and would. These are all verbs that you make use of when you are talking about future certain occurrences or possible occurrences. So B, C, and D is not the answer to this question. The answer to this question is option A, because that is in the past perfect tense, and we understand that the past perfect tense is used along with the past tense. So is it true that Okoro had returned when the gates were closed? So the answer to this question is option A. Question 36. Again, we have to fill in the gap in this particular expression. The public library has stopped dash books to readers. A, borrowing, B, lending, C, renting, and D, loaning. Okay, sometimes we might be confused with the use of the word borrowing and lending. Lending is the act that is performed by someone who is giving out something to someone else. While borrowing is the receiving act, right? I want to borrow money from someone means I'm the one in need of the money, but I'm asking for someone to give it to me. But lending, you are the one in the position to give it to someone. So in this case, the public library has stopped lending books to people. The public library is the one in the position to give those books out to people. Renting is used only in situations where you're talking about houses and apartments. You rent out things. You also rent out movies though, but you don't rent out books to people. You lend books to people. Then loaning is used in the context of finance, money. When you loan out money, you give out money to people with the hope that they will return it back with interest. So the answer to this question is option B, lending. Do you know you can take practice questions with our simulated JAMB CBT past question? All you need to do is to click on the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website. There you can download the Myschool mobile app for your Android devices and the Myschool software for your laptops and computers. Please go ahead and start practicing. Now on to question 37. Again, we have to fill in the gap with the appropriate option. We won't leave until it's dash raining. A will stop, B stopped, C stops, and D has stopped. So the second half of this statement is a conditional statement because of the use of the word until. So we are not going to leave until a moment when it stops raining. We make use of the present tense stops because we are talking about a particular moment in time. So you have to make use of the present tense. That moment when it stops raining, that's when we will decide to leave. So our answer to this question is option C. I believe you're enjoying this content. If yes, please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos. Question 38. Again, we have to fill in the gap with the appropriate option. The dash event marks the beginning of a new life for the entire cabinet. A, historical, B, historicity of the, C, historic, and D, history of the. So in this case, we are looking for an adjective that will appropriately describe that event that occurred. So it can either be historical or historic. We make use of historical when we are talking about an object or even an event that occurred in the past but is not significant. But we'll make use of historic for something that happened in the past but is very significant, very important. So in this case, from the way they describe the event, it marked the beginning of a new life for the entire cabinet. It has to be historic because it is significant. So our answer to this question is option C, historic. Question 39. Again, we have to fill in the gap with the appropriate option. The train dashed before I arrived. A was leaving, B has left, C had left, and D would leave. So in this case, the appropriate option to fill in this gap is the past perfect tense. for the past perfect tense, we relate something that happened in the past to something that happened way back in the past. So you are relating two events that occurred in the past. The train had left before I arrived. The leaving of the train and the arrival of this person are those events that happened in the past that you are relating to one another. So in that case, you have to make use of the past perfect tense. The train had already left before I arrived. Those two events happened in the past, and you are trying to relate both of them. Our answer to this question is option C. Question 40. Again, we have to fill in the gap with the most appropriate option. You can travel on your own dash. A, isn't it? B, can't you? C, won't you? And D, shan't you? So this is a question tag related question. And remember that the question tag is designed to seek confirmation from the listener. So the speaker makes a declarative sentence and attaches a question tag to see if the listener agrees with him on that statement. So for question tags, feel free to go back to our English video lessons on question tag to learn more about question tag. But for this particular situation, we have to look at the verb and the subject that is used in the declarative sentence. Can is the verb used, and you have to use the negative of that verb, which is can't, and then you attach the subject you. So the question tag for this particular statement is can't you. Option B is the answer to this question. Question 41. Again, we have to fill in the gap with the most appropriate option. The man is refurbishing the flat with a view to dash it. A, sell. B, selling. C, have sold. D, be selling. So in the case what we make use of with a view to, we have to make use of the gerund form selling. All right, so it's going to be the man is refurbishing the flat with a view to selling it. This helps to show that the action of selling the apartment is what results from refurbishing it. So our answer to this question is option B. Question 42. Again, we have to fill in the gap with the most appropriate option. The Secretary General was shocked at the number of dash. A, child soldiers. B, childish soldiers. C, children soldiers. And D, child soldiers. The answer to this question is option D. Although it might make sense to pick option C because it's in the plural form, children and soldiers. But in this particular case, child is used as an adjective to describe the type of soldiers that you are referring to. So child soldiers are soldiers under the age of 18 that have been selected to serve in a particular war or conflict in a society. So child is an adjective in this case and not a noun. Our answer to this question is option D, child soldiers. Question 43. Now we have to look for the option that will appropriately fill this gap. In spite of Sade's good looks, her hair is always dash. A, unkept. B, unkempt. C, unwashed. And D, unclean for. The answer to this question is option B, unkempt. Unkempt is a word that is usually used to describe a person's hair that is not properly groomed or well taken care of. So unkept is also used for objects that is not properly maintained, but in this case it's usually used for gardens and buildings that are not properly maintained, not for a person's hair. Alright, so this is why option B is the appropriate answer to this question. Question 44. Again, we have to fill in the gap in a sentence. By the end of the football match today, we dash the best player. A could have known, B might have known, C will have known, and D would have known. So this particular case, we are looking for something that indicates certainty and not probability because it's talking about what will happen at the end of this football match. So A and B can't be the answer to this question because those two indicates probability, right? But we're looking for something that indicates that it is certain that at the end of this match, you will know the best player. So it can either be option C or option D, but it can't be option D because would indicates an hypothetical situation. When you're talking about something that is not true, right? If I had done this, I would have been able to do this. So that's an hypothetical situation, right? But will shows certainty. This is definitely what will happen in the future. So our answer to this question is option C. By the end of the football match today, we would have known the best player. Option C is the answer to this question. Question 45. Again, we have to fill in the gap with the most appropriate option. It is African for a younger person to show dash to elders. A, understanding. B, indifference. C, deference. And D, satisfaction. Normally, we understand that when something is African, it means that it is part of the African culture. It is something that is typical of the African culture as opposed to other cultures of the world. So we are looking for something that is specific to our African culture, and that is deference. Deference means respect. When you show respect to your elders, you are being African, right? Because it's something that is typical of the African people. So we might show understanding, but understanding is not typically African, right? We can show understanding to elders, but it is not something that is African, that is specific to the African people. Satisfaction also is not, although it is something that we normally show to elders sometimes. When they give us something, we feel satisfied by it. It can be indifference, because it is not African to show indifference to your elders. So the answer to this question is option C, deference. Do you have a question? Please feel free to ask your question by clicking the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website. There you can ask your question and the solution will be provided to you within a short period of time. Now on to question 46. A nursery rhyme is used to teach pupils how to spell the word dash. Now they're asking you for the proper spelling of the word hippopotamus, and we can see that the proper spelling is option D, which has 2 P's here, just 1 P here, and an A instead of an E. Okay, so our answer to this question is option D, hippopotamus, hippopotamus. Do you have a better explanation or solution to any of these questions? Please feel free to indicate by going down to the comment section below, indicating the question number and the solution you'd like to share. Question 47. Again, we have to fill in the gap with the most appropriate option. You who dash convicted should appeal. A has been, B is, C was, and D are. So the answer to this question is option A, has been, because for this particular expression, we are looking for something that expresses something that has happened in the past but is relevant in the present moment. So this person has been convicted, but now he's being given advice that he should appeal. So option A is the answer. The answer to this question cannot be option D, because you make use of are when in a particular phrase, though there is a relative pronoun, the are is referring back to you. But in this case, who has been convicted is a different clause, right? It's different from the clause you should appeal. It is a dependent clause and it stands alone differently from the other clause. So you should not relate the verb that should be used in this context to the other clause. It should be related to the subject of this particular clause, which is who. So who has been convicted is the best answer to this question. The answer to this question is option A. Question 48. Choose the option that has the same vowel sound as the one represented by the letters underlined. So in this case, the 2 vowel letters are underlined in the word bear. We have option A, bear, option B, pear, option C, fair, and option D, pear. So let's go to the board to transcribe each of the words to see which is our answer. So remember that in order to learn how to transcribe, you can always go back to our video lessons on the sound system, vowels, and consonants in our English topic by topic video lesson to learn more about how to transcribe words. But let's try transcribing each of the following words. To transcribe bear, we have the consonant. It starts with the consonant sound B, followed by the diphthong ear, which is written as this, ear. Then for the word bear, we have the consonant sound B once again, but this time around we have the diphthong air. You should note that these 2 are different sounds, the ear sound and the air sound. They may sound alike to some of us, but there is a difference between the 2 of them. While this one starts with the E sound and glides to the sound, this starts with the air sound and glides to So we have ear and air, right? Beer, bear. So that's the difference. Then the word pear has the consonant sound P and then glides to this, the diphthong air. Then we have fair, which begins with the F sound and has the diphthong air, right? The last one is different. It starts with the P consonant sound and moves on to the ear sound. We have pear. So you can see that this and this, they sound alike because they end with the vowel sound ear, and we have to look for the vowel sound there, right? So those are the vowel sounds. They are alike. They are exactly the same thing. Let's go back to the screen to mark our answer. So from what was written on the board, we can see that the answer to this question is option D, pear. Question 49. Again, we are to look for the option that has the same vowel sound as the letters underlined. In this case, A and R is underlined in the word. So let's go to the board to transcribe each of the words. Alright, for the word God, it begins with the G sound, G. Then it moves on to the long R sound, right? Whenever you see a lot of vowel letters in the middle of a word, you know that that vowel sound is going to be long. But when it is just one vowel letter, it can be short, as we will see in one of these options. So we have God. It ends with the D sound, okay? Then we have God. God has a diphthong sound in the middle. We have God, or the O sound in the middle of the word. So this is a diphthong, it's pronounced O, God. Then we have guide. Again, we have a diphthong sound in the middle. Guide, I, guide. Okay, so this and that diphthong. Then we have argue. Again, you can see that there are a lot of letters. There are two letters that represent that sound, so it is going to be long. Assuming A is standing alone, it could be short. But this time around, we have A and R standing together. That's the reason why we have a long R sound at the beginning of the word. Then we have the G sound. Then we have J, argue. So this is another consonant sound there. Then we have the U sound, argue. Then we have chat. The consonant sound there is the Ch sound. Then you can see there is no extra letter to represent that sound, so it is just an independent R sound. This is the short R sound, chat, A. Then we have T, chat. Now we have to look for the one that has the same sound as the one represented by the letters on the line. So we're looking for something that has the R sound, which is this option, argue. So this is the answer to this question. Let's go back to the screen to mark our answer. So from the board, we can see that the answer to this question is option C, argue. Question 50. Choose the option that has the same consonant sound as the one represented by the letter underlined. Film. So the letter L is the underlined letter. We have option A, salt, option B, walk, option C, psalm, and option D, chalk. So let's go to the board to transcribe each of the words. So for the word film, it's transcribed as this. We have the short E sound. We have the U and the N. Film. Then for salt, we have S sound. Then we have the O sound, the long one. We have the U sound and the T sound, salt. Then for walk, this is a little bit different. So although it has the letter L in the word, the L is usually silent. So this time around we have W, then we have O, and then we have K. The L is silent in this case, walk. Then we have Sam, again, the L is silent in this word. So we have S. You can see that we did not add the P as well because the P is silent. Alright, there is no P sound here. It starts from S. Then we have R. Then we have M. It's pronounced Sam. The L is silent. Then we have chalk. Again, the L is silent. We have Ch, O, and then K, chalk. So from the option, we can see that it is only the first one that has the L sound, just like film. It's pronounced salt. So let's go back to the screen to mark our answer. So the answer to this question is option A, salt. I believe you've enjoyed this content. If yes, please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.